Hey everyone, it's Noblars here, and today in this tutorial Tuesday, I'm going to show you how I make the sword. Now, I made a couple different swords, or I've actually made a lot of different swords in the past. The last one that you guys saw was on one of my clone troopers that I had. It was a Camino guard that had a shield and a sword. This sword is going to be close to that one, but it's just kind of a generic sword. And there's a lot of different ways to make these swords, and I make them in different ways. This is just one way, one technique that I use that's probably the standard way that I do stuff, but one thing different is I'm not going to use a metal blade. I did cut a metal blade out right here, as you can see, but I'm not going to be using this one because you need thicker metal to do these, because if you get thin metal, then it's going to be really wobbly and hard to work with. So it's not going to be done out of metal, but I'm going to use the same material that I use for my vibro blades, which is this plastic material. Which is also very thin, so this will work really well. It's going to be hard to see it, but there's the glare. This is the shape of the blade. It's kind of a bigger blade, but I have a pretty cool idea I can do with this. I'll probably do some kind of non-Star Wars character, maybe some kind of warrior that will have that. But what you're going to need is a blade, so cut it out of whatever you want. It doesn't have to be metal, it doesn't have to be plastic. Find something, use that. And then you're also going to need a strip of metal. You need a strip of metal like so, and this is going to need to be twice the length, roughly twice the length of your blade. So measure your blade out, and you want a piece of metal twice the length of that. So that's going to be for the sheath. You're also going to need, unless you have something that works for the handle itself, I'm going to be using this fabric for the handle, or part of the handle. So the handle will fit a Lego guy's hand. I'm going to customize something. Now you can use something like this that fits in the guy's hand. That's perfectly fine, but I'm going to make mine from scratch. What I did was I had a toothpick and I cut off the end like so. This is going to be my handle. And then I had the ends of the toothpick had some ornate design kind of carved into it. And then I cut those in half. And if I can grab one, whoop, I can not throw it. This little piece here is going to be the handguard. I'm going to have two of these. It's not going to show up. Stupid camera. It's not going to focus. But yeah, it has a little bit of pattern in it. So I'm going to have two of those for the handguard. And then I have this little metal ball that I cut off of a, it might be magnetic or not, nope. That I cut off of a dog tag necklace. And it's just one of those little balls that on a dog chain. One of these. So that's going to be for the pommel on the bottom of it. And I will also need you'll need another wedge of fabric that's going to cover the sheath. But this is just a slab of fabric that I'm going to be using. Doesn't really matter as long as it's the length of the blade. It's what you want, and it needs to be wide enough, probably about a little bit more than twice the width. So yeah, these are the materials that you will need. I'm going to go ahead and get into this. Hopefully this works out. Please ignore my phone in the background. So first thing you're going to need to do is, going to need my glue. What I do to start, and I'm kind of at a weird angle, so if my voice sounds weird shoved up against my camera, then I apologize. You're going to take your X-Acto knife, and the X-Acto knife and glue, and then probably tweezer beads are the only tools you will need. Don't need this extra stuff. So take your, sorry, I think I'm getting sick. Take your X-Acto knife, and then you're going to cut about 1/3 of the way down your handle, like so. Just cut into it, see how it, well, it kind of cut almost in half, like that. You basically want a groove for, see how it slides in there like that. You want a groove for the tang to fit down into. For those who don't know what that is, basically it's the, I kind of did this one wrong, but it's the part of the sword that's narrowed that goes into the handle. I watch a lot of blacksmith videos in my spare time, and that's called the tang, and that is the part that is going to be going in the handle. So I'm actually going to put the glue on the handle, so I'm going to do that. I just use regular super glue. I've mentioned this before in the past that I get this at the dollar store. I figured that I found out that it might be a little bit cheaper to do it at Walmart, but that's for a different time. So then you're just going to put a couple drops of glue on there. Take your sword, put the tang in. Don't get glue on your hands. Line that up. It's kind of sticking to my hand a little bit. Stop sticking to my hand. Line that up before it dries. And then actually you might need another tool for this. I'm going to use my duckbill pliers. Just apply a little bit of pressure on that to get those two pieces to close down on each other on either side, like so. Okay, so that's nice and dry. Now this glue dries really fast, and it does dry really well with basically any material. So now that I have my handle attached to my sword, now if you can see, this is obviously a toothpick, so a Lego guy cannot hold that. It just falls out of his hand. So that is where I use this fabric, because I'm going to do this the hard way and wrap this fabric around the handle until it is the width I desire to fit into a Lego guy's hand. So everything is customized like from scratch with pretty much. So I'll put a bit of glue on this little strip of fabric, and then I'm going to hopefully put it on here. And then once that part is on, so you can see it's already dried on there pretty good. This glue dries really fast. And then just start applying some more glue. Wrap this around. Now this part, if I could time lapse I would. If I could speed this up I would, but I've tried to use my editing software and it is a pain. So this is just going to be one straight clip of all this stuff. So then you kind of want to measure it to make sure that you don't have too much. So keep trying to see what it's going to be like in the hand. See how many wraps you need. I think I only need one actually. Okay, so about one, which is good because I don't want to use a lot of fabric. I don't want this to wrap around a billion times. So now once you have that done, you're going to cut off the extra, like so. And then I'm going to double check just to make sure. Never hurts to double check your work. Nice, so it does fit in his hand. I probably could have made this handle a little bit longer in hindsight, but no problems because I can make it a little bit longer. I can just add some more pieces to it, which I will do that when I get to the end of this sword. Which is the good thing about this, you can improv. Always, that's what I do when I make stuff. I just, I make something and something doesn't work out and I just have to go with the flow. So with that being said, with the end piece not being how I wanted it, not being long enough, this is just a little extra piece, little stub that I cut off. And I'm going to need to probably go silence my phone because it's getting annoying. I'm going to actually re-glue this to the end. Put some glue right there. And then drop this piece. Actually, that might be too long. Let me double check this. This might not be necessary, but at the same time, if I'm going to do it, I want to do it right. Is this going to be too long? Yeah, it's way too long. Okay, so it's okay, no worries. What you're going to do is take your X-Acto knife, and then good thing about toothpicks are they cut really easy. So I'm just going to cut off a little knob of this. There we go. And then I'm just going to add this little piece to the end, and that won't be too much. It'll extend it just enough. Extend it out just enough to not look too short, which is why I don't want to happen. So I'm going to again put some glue on the end, put some glue on that end. Hope that it doesn't glue to my fingers. So there you go, just extended it just enough, and then of course I am going to put the put this pommel on the end, so then it'll have just a little bit more of that detail. And of course you can always add more glue to make these things more sturdy and stable. That's a little rough. Sandpaper works really well for wood, by the way. Just gonna sand. Okay. But yes, if you've bear with me, if this video has already been 10 minutes. I know it's been a long time. And there's still a lot more to do, and that was like the easy stuff. So next step you're going to do is take your hand guard, do the same technique with cutting into the side, like so. Okay, and then we're going to put, we'll make sure it fits first. I want it to come about halfway into the weapon, into the blade, so that works really well. I'm going to go ahead and take that out, put some glue. Boop. Go ahead and put that back. Make sure that it is straight. Both sides look pretty good. There we go. And then we're going to give that a little, give it a little bit of pressure. Keep that on there. Give that glue a second to dry. What in the world is that? Okay, give that glue some dry. Now that glue is already dried. That ain't going anywhere. Do that to the other side. Sorry, I do feel like I'm getting kind of congested, so if I make a bunch of really obnoxious noises, I apologize. Put some more glue on this side. Now you can skip through this video if you want, because I do know it's probably going to be painful to watch, and I do need to learn how to edit better to make this process more enjoyable for everybody involved, including me. Actually, I put that on the wrong side. There we go. So now that you have both of your hand guards on, that is on there. Now you can always add more glue. I might add a little bit more glue, just while I'm doing other stuff. Put a little dollop of glue right there, doesn't hurt nobody. And then put a little bead at the base of that. Okay, so now that is the easy part. We're going to take a look-see. Well, I put some glue in his hand. Probably not the best idea to put it in. Yeah, okay. So far this is what you got. Looking really good. And then of course the pommel will go there. Now, this is the fun part. This is also the hard part, but it's fun. Now this is a very tricky technique, so if you can't do it, just keep practicing, because it is kind of technical. But take your metal, I guess, that you have laid out, and then what you're going to do is fold it in half, just to get an idea of where the middle is. Okay, so fold it in half, get an idea where the middle is. I'm bending the middle so it has a crease, so I know where it's at. Okay, and I'm actually going to halfway bend it so I know. And now I'm going to hold it in one hand. This might be kind of tricky to see on camera. Taking the dull side of my X-Acto knife. Now you please use something else, because this is sharp, and I'm touching the blade. This is sharp, and that's what I'm using it, because I need that thin side. What you're going to do is place it in the center of your metal, and then bend it around the metal. Bend it around. I'm just going to use the X-Acto knife for the example, because that's what I'm using. Bend it around the X-Acto knife. So you're basically bending it in half, like so, like that. Okay, and then you take the other side. You can start from the top, you start from the bottom, doesn't matter. And then bend it in half. This is kind of hard to, here we go. Bend it in half. It's important that you get this to be correct, because it's going to affect the way your sheath is made. This is actually the sheath. I should have probably mentioned that. So you guys, what are you doing? What are you building? So now that that is bent in half, as you can see, That is the important step, and you have to make sure you have both halves. So what you're going to do next, take your sword and then slide it over. Be a little bit longer, but that's okay. Okay, so slide it over your blade and then finish that bend and bend that half over the blade. Like so. There's a lot of stuff in the background, it's probably distracting. Make sure that it goes from the handguard as high up as you can. So once that metal is bent, that's kind of shiny now. That metal is bent around the blade. You can see up there how it bends in the middle and has another piece right here. You're going to fold that piece down over the other side of the blade. Make sure the blade is in the middle. Then you're going to crimp that as well. Okay. So now that you have both sides bent, you can crimp the top however you want, but crimp it like so. So now you have the makings of your sheath. Okay, so basically that metal is going to be the outline of the sheath, and then this top part looks really ugly, so I'm going to take my metal cutting scissors, basically just regular scissors, and then I'm going to cut an angle into the top of this, because there's a lot of excess stuff at the top. So I'm just going to cut it and make it look more like the point you would want on the end of your sheath. And just round that off. Now you gotta be careful because I probably might be cutting into the blade itself, but it's a risk I'm willing to take. So once that is cut to the desired proportion, looks pretty nice. And now because it is metal like that, your blade can freely move in and out of these two pieces. So while this is like in this state, this is another part that's kind of tricky. Just give me 1 second, I'm going to examine it, make sure that it's how I want it. Okay. Going to trim a little bit more. Sorry about this being so long, guys and girls. I'm just trying to make it right. Okay, so might not be perfect, but again, we're working with materials here, so it's kind of hard to get it to be exact. What you're going to do is, okay, so this is a good example. I actually cut too much off, but that's okay because it's all going to be one piece very soon. Okay, so take a little bit of glue, put it on one side of the metal, making sure that doesn't spill over the metal onto the blade itself. Because then you'll be gluing your sheath to your blade, and that's not exactly what we're trying to do, because you won't be able to get your sword out. Now place your extra fabric on that metal piece. Press it down. Fabric is going to glue really fast to this, so you can see it's already holding on there. Make sure it can move freely. That's what you want. And this might be a little tricky because I do have two pieces here and it's supposed to be one, but it's my bad. Okay, so now that you have that done, you're going to put a little bit of glue on the inside. Basically what you're trying to do is fold this fabric around the metal blade, or around the metal that you molded around the blade, without accidentally doing what I just did and gluing the blade to the metal. Oh no. Trouble in River City, guys. Don't do what I just did. Ah! Mayday! Okay, whew! That was scary. So what I just did was I did what you were not supposed to do and put too much glue and I glued the sword to the sheath, and if anybody knows what that means, it's not good. Okay, so now I have to do a little bit of repair. This is awkward. This is the problems with trying to do something live. There's no room for error. No room for error at all. So this would probably be a really good video to learn how to edit. So then you don't have to worry about all this stupidness. You guys are like, Joe, you're so dumb. You don't know how to edit. I'm 5 and I know how to edit. Well, good for you. If you want to edit my videos for me, let me know and I will hire you to edit my videos. Okay, so trying to get this crisis averted. Okay. That was scary, guys. That was real scary. I almost ruined it. Ruined. Okay. So I'm just going to talk you through it and then just do it. Put a little bit of glue. Let's do a little bit of glue this time. Just a wee bit of glue. Guys, I don't know how long my camera can take a video for too, so this is going to be interesting. It's like a race against time, but I don't know how much time I'm racing against or how much time I have to race with. Okay, so come on. All right, that's good. Good, 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 very good. Okay, do some measuring. Now, if you can see, like all this is just handmade and it's all custom. So to do this on the spot is kind of, you know, you just kind of, I don't know how these materials are going to react or how things are going to go. So it's all improv anyway. That's the tricky part about doing these tutorials is, you know, I got all the pieces, all the materials lined up, but if something happens like it just did, like what do you do, you know? What do you do? You just got to keep on, keep on. Alrighty, so I was trying to do this, I didn't even look where my hand was, I apologize. So basically wrap this fabric all the way around, and now I'm bending the fabric to see where the end of the blade is. And I think it's right there. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off this extra stuff. We don't need that. And then I'm going to put a little bit of glue there just to kind of seal the top. Now you can use, I'll probably wind up adding metal to the end of this, but that's going to take some time to like decorate it and whatnot, because there are some decorative things you can do. And then last but not least, I'm going to add the pommel on the back, which is basically the heavy counterweight that swords have to give them like that thrust that they have. And in some cases they're actually used as a weapon. And then, okay, this is going to be painted a lot differently. So yeah, if you guys made it through this extremely painfully long video, I hope you learned how to do something. I hope you learned from this. This is how I make swords. I mean, this is a bigger sword and it's different, but of course it's going to be painted up and all that stuff, but I don't have time in this video. But this is the sword, and then I will probably try to paint the paint the sword silver, but then I just realized that it's on a different, that normally I leave the metal sword as is, so I don't have to paint it, and painting this blade might ruin it. So it might be a vibro blade after all, but it comes out of the sheath. And that's the sword. This is the sheath. It goes right back in, like so. Shing. Zoop. And that's how you make a realistic sword for your Lego man. And then, of course, you can do fancy stuff and get a strap, and then position it on the guy. Like I said, it's kind of a big sword. It's like He-Man's sword. I have the power. So, really big sword, really awesome. And this is what it looks like in the Lego dude's hand if he wants to hold it properly. Cooperate with me. There we go. So yeah, that's what it looks like. That's what it is. If you guys enjoyed this video, that's awesome. Hitchhike it. My hand can't fit in the screen. Let me know what other tutorials you want to see. I will try to get better at editing because this video was crazy long just for this tutorial. But if you did get through the end of it and you learned something, that's awesome. Let me know in the comments if you actually made it to the end. That's how I make the sword. Now you know. And good luck trying to make it on your own. If you can't, let me know. And I might try to make an easier tutorial. One with better steps and then probably an easier sword to do. So thanks for watching. God bless. And I'll see you guys later. Oh, don't forget. I just posted this part 2 of my brother's Boba Fett's daughter. Now, is his rendition of her. I know it's not exactly her. It's just his take because he's an artist and that's what he wanted to do. It's really awesome. Go check it out. I'll put a link in the description. And I'll put a link right up. I'll put it up in here. So you can click on that. Check it out. And then also tomorrow, I'm going to be posting. This might look familiar to some of you guys. I'm going to post that tomorrow. It's going to be for the contest winner. And I'll get those out probably either tomorrow or Thursday if I'm not going back home. So with that being said, y'all take care and I'll see you later. Bye.